This video is brought to you by you, and a little fairy magic, of course. Thank you for your support here and on Patreon. I've been feeling kind of quiet recently. But not like in a depressed way, just more reflective. You felt that, right? And honestly, let's backtrack for a second, because the fact that I feel the need to clarify that quietness doesn't always equal depression, I guess I've been led to believe that you're either bubbly and happy or there's something wrong with you. But life has its seasons, and I found it best to embrace them more fully and question them a little less. Just find the comfort and coziness that each season has to offer.
Can I interject?
You always do.
I've been waiting for a good segue, and you said the word cozy, and I thought that would be a good place to interrupt. Since I've been making this video, cozy things have been on my mind, so I decided to compile all my favorite cozy things. I'm calling it my cozy kit. I'll put the link in the description and in the comments, and I spent a lot of time on it, so I hope you love it. Okay, back to you.
There's a lot of beauty in quiet things. Flowers don't make a sound. Or butterflies. I've never once questioned why butterflies don't make sounds. In fact, I'd almost bet that there are more of us who feel comfortable in the quiet than we realize. I think of it this way. The people who do speak up are obviously going to be heard and noticed more than those who stay quiet. It often seems like those who are being the loudest are speaking for the majority because they're the ones we can hear, right? It's why we can watch the news and maybe start to believe that the world is mostly a dark place, when in reality there's so much good in the world. We live in a beautiful world with beautiful people, but the good news often goes unnoticed because it stays quiet. And the scary things are often loud. The trick is to not confuse the volume of a message with its importance.
Okay, pause for a second. This part's actually really cool. I don't really understand the science. I Googled it once. I didn't retain any of the information. Something happens when you spray the soap on the turmeric and it turns red. Watch. Here, I'll show you a close-up. Do you see it changing colors?
Quiet isn't inherently bad, just like loud isn't inherently bad. Right? And life becomes magical when we learn how to turn up the volume on the things that are good and turn down the volume on the things that don't add value to our life. That's a skill I'm very much still learning. In the meantime, though, I think I'm beginning to master the art of quiet living. I used to think that in order to live a quiet life, I would have to run away to a cottage in the forest and make my own soap or something. And while that's still my goal, I've found it quite peaceful to live that lifestyle now. Minus the soap part. That sounds daunting. On my most quiet days, I like to visit the Meadow in Haven Hollow. It's also a great place to visit on the really loud days when I need some quiet time. In fact, I'm headed there today if you'd like to tag along. Now, you already know that the magic of Haven Hollow is fueled by the fairies. And every area of the hollow has its own mixture of that fairy magic. The Very Normal Cafe blends the fairy magic with the buzz of the coffee shop dwellers to give you a pick-me-up. The Enchanted Forest offers the magic of the ancient trees when you're in need of direction. The waterfall has a splash of siren magic for when you need a friend. You get the picture. If you pick up your favorite drink at the Very Normal Cafe in the town center, I really like the caramel latte. Then head south, out the town gates, you'll be met with a quaint path out to the meadow. When life feels a bit crowded or loud or even trapped, it calls for a walk out to the meadow, where the fairy magic mixes with the freedom of the wind, the soft energy of the butterfly wings, and the gentle sway of the grass and flowers. It's perfect for some fresh air and deep breaths. Now pack a picnic if you'd like, and maybe a book or some art supplies. Or just grab a blanket to sit on. Really, there's lots to do in the meadow, but my favorite activity is to sit and breathe. Listen, breathing in the meadow is a bit different than breathing in our world. See, when you breathe out a regular meadow or park, you'll maybe smell the freshly cut grass, the earthy dirt or leaves, and that can be quite pleasant. It's an intuitive function that our body does over and over, and honestly, our lungs deserve more recognition for that. But when you breathe in the meadow, it becomes more of an experience than those intuitive breaths that our bodies take by themselves. It's almost more like a spiritual breath, if that makes sense. Sometimes, you know how you have your physical body, but then you also have your spiritual self. And sometimes I feel like my spiritual self is a little bit inhibited or held back by my physical limitations. Almost like my spiritual self is a little bit claustrophobic. Not like in an anxiety kind of way. And that's kind of the difference, I guess. In our world, we breathe physically. In the meadow, it's like your spirit gets to take a deep breath and fill up with renewed light. There's something about the magic that heightens your senses, and you're suddenly aware of every single breath flowing in and out. And you take off your shoes so you can fully connect with the earth beneath you. You find a comfortable place on the soft grass and blanket and allow yourself a moment to feel at home here in the meadow. And as you take that first deep breath in, you become one with the most beautiful flowers surrounding you. Kind of like walking into Granny Leia's flower shop, but with an extra zest that makes the flowers feel alive. They're not just fresh stems in a bouquet, after all. They're part of the earth, adding to its life and magic. Little reminders of how beautiful life truly is. And don't even get me started on the colors. The colors in the rainbow we have are incredible, but have you ever seen the color of magic? It's like that color of nightfall when the sun is low in the sky and all the colors mix with the clouds and cast a warm glow on your face. It's the same color of reconnecting with a loved one whom you've missed for a while and finally get to give them a big hug. Or the color of summer nights when you were a kid playing outside, covered in dirt and popsicle drips. The color of life's magical little moments. You can't possibly sum those up in a single red or blue hue, for example. You take more deep breaths and smell the whisper of the butterflies, each flap of their wings making the scent stronger. They have a soft melody only heard here in the meadow, where it's quiet enough to pick up the beautiful butterfly harmonies. It's not that they don't sing in our world, but perhaps it's just a little too noisy to hear them. They blend beautifully with the bird songs and the chirping crickets, and the occasional frog croak. It's an absolutely enchanting choir of life and light and energy. You take another deep breath, and this time you can smell the light. And perhaps instead of releasing the breath right away, you hold the light in for a few seconds and feel its glow overflowing your spirit before letting out a soft exhale. The light is my favorite smell, similar to that of gratitude or love. You know that scent when everything feels right and safe in the world, and you don't know whether to laugh or cry or sing because there's so much of the light inside of you that it's begun to overflow. The meadow makes for a perfect charging station. Like all parts of Haven Hollow, you're free to explore and stay as long as your soul needs the magic. And when you're ready to return to our world, you're more than welcome to grab some of the Hollow's magic and a bit of the fairy dust to bring back with you. You already have your own brand of magic inherently inside of you, but sometimes an extra surplus can be helpful if you're ever feeling low. And you can always return if you ever run out.